What's wapa?
She's got you running errands, picking up wedding dresses.
Wapa!
Marriage. Marriage is what brings us together today.
You're now listening to Cutmaster Cast.
Yo, yo, yo. What is happening, peeps? How you all doing?
What's up?
Welcome back to another round of the Cutmaster Cast, your weekly fix. At this point, it's like monthly.
Yeah.
Your monthly fix for all things weddings. My name is Chris Romero.
And my name is Tony Pacheco. What's up, everybody?
What's up, you guys? We are DJs out of Albuquerque, New Mexico with Cutmaster Music. And we are glad to be back. It's been a minute. Still rocking season 2. We're getting down to the end of season 2 here.
Mm-hmm.
This is episode 64. And this is where we give you fresh insights, expert wedding tips, and some behind-the-scenes stories from our recent events. And once again, make sure to share the episodes and previous episodes.
A lot of good stuff in those episodes. So if you're just finding us now, look at all of the content that we've created because there's a lot of good information in there. We continually just spit out random stuff, but
That's right. Yep. And
it's a lot of good stuff.
And this is a great pod for couples if you are looking into doing wedding planning, like we said, tips, tricks, and hacks. And then also for vendors. And actually today's episode is probably going to be geared more towards vendors, but I think our couples might get some things out of it a little bit here and there.
Yeah.
This one's going to be more vendor, focused.
Yeah.
As we get into it. So cool. So dang, I mean, the last time I think we're almost, it's got to be at least a month.
Yeah, I think it was. I'm trying to think about it, but we had the craziest October. You know what I mean? And November was pretty crazy too because we had what we're going to talk about today in Wedding MBA and then the holidays of Thanksgiving and all of that. But yeah, I feel like you and I have just been going. We've just been in go mode.
And those of you
My
vendors
goodness.
out there know, I mean, it's the wedding season, right?
Yeah.
And now we're really at the end of wedding season, finally.
Now we're in holiday parties. We just switched.
Yeah.
We didn't even have a break.
Well, and it's kind of interesting being a DJ because we, as vendors in the wedding industry, photographers, planners, florists, cake, bakers and stuff like that. We talk with them at events, and so many of them are like, "Oh, I'm so glad, we're winding down," and most of them don't have a lot of events, if any, between now and the start of next wedding season, which in New Mexico is, April, May-ish, I would say is when it really gets ramped up. But for us as DJs, our busiest month is actually December. And that's just because we do holiday parties.
Yeah, we'll have holiday parties, and then we'll get what turns into inquiry time. So we're definitely busy in the office.
Booking season
For sure. And so we're in the office a lot, and then we're also managing a lot of different bookings, and then having to handle like 3 different holiday parties in the same week, or like having to be in 2 separate places. Like we're in El Paso, Santa Fe, all over the state this month, and it's just crazy.
Surprisingly, we've actually got 2. You have 2 weddings that you're doing this month.
Yeah.
Actually, and I've got one on the 21st. That's my last wedding.
Yeah, exactly. It's so funny because everybody, all the vendors that we talk to is, my last wedding. I'm like, I got 2 more in December.
Right.
And I was just like, wow, like you don't even think about it. But some of them just kind of fall into your lap and you align with the right clients, and
Exactly.
they find you.
Yep. So let's talk about a few of our past weddings.
Totally.
If I can even remember what I've done.
Mine was awesome.
Yeah, go ahead. You can start it.
So we had an Indian wedding that was a 2-day celebration. Oh, it was a 3-day celebration, but we were only a part of the 2, Friday, Saturday. Friday was it's called the Sangeet, where basically a smaller number of people who are invited, but it was still like 110 people. And they do performances, family members, friends. They do these performances for the bride and groom. And so they had like singers, drummers. They had music, like people who were on like a guitar as well as like saxophone, doing different solos. The groomsmen had a dance. The bridesmaids had a dance. And then we had like a little dance party from like 8:30 to 10. But it was an incredible tone setter.
Where was it at?
At Sandia Casino.
Oh, yeah, at the resort?
Yep. Yeah. So it was nice being it It was fine being at the casino. I don't mind it. It's not my favorite venue because unloading in and out of that space is such a hassle. You got to talk to security. It's a casino, so you got to do all the right things. And you're all often having to lug the equipment from one end of the building to the other. So
Right.
it's fine. At the end of the day, it was all good.
I have to say, my favorite part of Sandia, though, is the people that we work with there.
Oh, the staff there, phenomenal.
Staff is
oh,
awesome.
my God. It's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like,
So shouts to the staff. They always take care of us. Like I feel, and anytime I recently did a corporate event there, and I hadn't been there in a while. And anytime I walk in, it's just like I feel like home with
Exactly.
them. You know. So
I thought the same thing. And they asked me questions I didn't even think about for the next day. They were like, oh, we'll just take care of it and we'll do this for you. And it was basically setting up the whole ceremony system because they were like, I wasn't sure. The couple they didn't know if they had like the ceremony add-on.
Right.
She was like, well, we have the sound and this is our standard setup. And I was like, oh, I'll plug into you guys. That makes my life way easier.
Right.
So stuff like that.
I mean, I've got 2 holiday parties that are back to back
Yeah.
next week on a Friday, Saturday.
Mhm.
They're allowing me to keep my gear and equipment there,
Yeah.
you know, and just like, and it makes it so much easier, right? For
Oh, dude.
going from one night to the next.
That's what happened for me on this wedding because we had the Sangeet Friday and then the wedding reception in the same room on that Saturday. So I was able to take away like my laptop, but for the most part, everything that was heavy and, we just left it there and it was perfect. It was excellent for tear down exit. We were out within 30 minutes, which was awesome. And then setting up, I didn't have to show up till like 2 hours then like later than I typically would because it was
Right.
already all set up. So that was really nice. Reception ceremony was cool because at the beginning of the ceremony they have what's called a barat, and basically it's a big pregame party to the ceremony where the groom is being given away by his people, and they have a big drum party, and it's just so we had speakers set out.
So did you go from one place to the next? Because the whole idea behind a barat, from what I've been told, and the culture is that you're going from the groom's village to the bride's village, and so they would all walk together as a
Yes.
family with music and
Yeah.
drums
Yeah.
and everything. So I've done a few of those where we'll typically walk from like one part of the property and they walk down to the ceremony site.
That was exactly what happened, and that makes so much sense now because it's basically was led by the drummer, the parents, and the wedding party, and then he was following after, and then it was just a big party that started on one end of the ceremony space, typically where they walk down that aisle.
Yeah.
He wanted to come in on a horse, but the casino wouldn't allow it.
Yeah, they usually. I think it's like usually a white horse. If I think it's a white horse that they usually.
He had
come
like
in
a
on.
toy horse that you would with a stick.
Actually, I think
It's
it's
hilarious.
usually. If I remember correctly, there was one they were trying to get an elephant.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that would have been nuts, right? But yeah, it didn't.
Yeah,
happen.
so he came. We had music out there. We had it going. They had the drummer, and it was basically a pre-party to the ceremony.
Right.
So we had music there. We had music there, and it was so fun. I loved the energy, and it really kind of.
I bought a speaker one time on wheels for just specifically for the barat. So I mean, it was just Bluetooth, right? Playing the
yeah.
music, and they had the drummers out there, and we were just walking, and we were doing
did
hype
that.
on the microphone.
Yeah, I did that. No wheels.
Oh, you were carrying it?
I had it on a stand, and
Oh
every
my-
like 10, like 20, 30 seconds, 15 seconds, I would say I would just kind of. just, like,
you were
walk-
moving it.
I was just
along?
walking with them because they
Oh.
told me the vision, and I was like, "Yeah, we can make it happen." And then I thought of the Toad booth, the mini Toad booth. I was like, "Oh, that's an option," but then that just seems like a lot for 5 minutes. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it was just a walk for that. So I was like, "I'll just
Yeah, and
carry it."
I don't know if you knew that the new speakers that I got, the Pioneer Wave 8s,
Yeah.
they're on wheels and they have a pull trolley.
Well, that would have been
Yeah.
nice. But that's okay. Yeah, we
Whoop.
made it happen. They told me their vision, and I made the vision happen. The drummer even complimented me. He's like, dude, I saw you bringing that speaker with us. That was perfect.
Yeah, because your speaker was battery powered and wireless, right?
exactly.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
battery
so-
powered wireless. I'm
pretty
running the audio through my phone, and I'm just kind of. But it worked. We all traveled to the ceremony. Once we got about almost all the way there, brought that down. Ceremony piano guys is playing as they enter in. Then we had this like unique like transfer of like not transfer but like garland. The dad would put it over the other dad and like welcoming the
Right.
family members. I had to say that. I was so stressed out during all these moments because it's not your typical ceremony,
Right.
and I'm having to make sure I'm having to say all the correct things. And so once that was done, I was like, oh, okay. smooth sailing.
Yep.
We're on to normal reception stuff. And
Yeah.
the ceremony was a little long. It was about an hour and 15, hour and 20, but that's typically how they go. They had
Shit, that's short
yeah,
for, for an
they're
Indian.
like 2 hours.
Yeah,
sometimes.
they're,
no
they're
joke.
like all day, half a day.
And it was cold. The sun was not out, even though it was at like 2, 3. The sun was like behind the building, so it was all freezing, asking me for hot water. And I'm like, I'm running the audio, lady. I don't know what to do.
I'm just throwing fire beats.
Right? Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, that was a very beautiful ceremony. It's always unique to see these different cultures collide and come together, and you could tell like they just all love it and
So
embrace it.
for the open dancing, did you play some like Bollywood?
For
And,
sure, yeah.
some
So
Bhangra
yeah,
and
you
some of
transition into reception. That was all good, very traditional stuff. And then your open dance was Bollywood, but Friday night was more Bollywood. So yeah,
okay.
because their goal was Sangeet. They wanted it to be a lot more Indian style tradition. The food was Indian, like themed curry and all that. So they wanted the music to be like 70% Indian,
Yeah.
30% American. And then Saturday they wanted to switch it. And so they wanted it to be 70% American, 30% Indian. So
Okay.
we were able to sprinkle in some more. I definitely got those requests.
They didn't
And-
ask for 20% Al Hurricane.
No, they did it actually. No Al Hurricane, no rancheras, none of
No,
that.
no marcha. What?
A couple.
10% marcha.
No, we did
Oh.
10%. Yeah, right. No, it was good. They had fun. I loved that they had that drummer. He was They hired him. He was not a family member.
Oh, that's cool.
I didn't know that until like way later. But I told him, dude, you do your thing. You know what you're doing. If there's anything you want me to play specifically, let me know. But you're good, bro. Just rally off drums. If you need a break, take a
He
break.
went and friended us on.
Oh, nice.
On,
On
on the
Insta?
socials.
Nice.
Seems super cool. Like,
Really cool guy. Yeah, he was dope. I would do like a transition or like make a mix happen, and he'd be like, "Dude, what the?" It was cool. And so having the integration of that live drummer really helped elevate the feel of it.
Yeah,
And
totally.
but you're playing your Punjabi MC, like that always hits.
Right.
The Jai Ho from Slumdog Millionaire.
Oh, yep.
That one does
That's a
really
great
well.
track.
Yeah. And then I think like a year or two ago, you gave me this crate,
Yeah.
this holy crate.
Yeah,
That's so good.
It is. It's the holy crate of Indian music.
I don't
that-
know. It's all in a different language, but I go by plays.
So I got that real quick story from his name was DJ Gogi, I remember.
Nice.
And I was doing the same thing. It was an event for a family, but they had a family DJ or a DJ that was a part of the family,
Yeah.
DJ Gogi. And but he didn't really know the American music as well, and so they wanted us to integrate, right? And actually we were going to take turns DJing.
Nice.
And I'm not kidding you. He went on for about 10, 15 minutes. He did a set, okay? So it may have been longer, but it felt like it was like maybe 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And it was just of the Indian music, and it was a train wreck.
Oh no.
I mean, literally, he was like trying to mix, but it was like not mixing. It was just like, it was crashes. I
Yeah.
mean, it was a crash. He was like,
call it shoes in a dryer.
oh my gosh, it was so bad. It was so bad that the groom came up and was like, Chris, can he tell you like the songs to play and
Yeah.
then you just mix them in? I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like no problem.
Nice.
And that's what ended up happening because he would be playing these tracks and they were dancing, having a good time, and you could tell they were going to sing like the chorus, and then he would just mix like hard mix out. It wasn't even blending. It was just one into the next. It was bad. And so, but DJ Gogi was cool enough to give me his hard drive.
There you go.
It has all, I mean, I know I shared it with you.
Yeah.
Great collection of music and just way more than we would ever typically need. But it's kind of cool because that was probably maybe 10 plus years ago that happened with me. And we've done a fair amount of Indian events since then, and it's always come in handy.
It really does. It helps an incredibly amount whenever I just need to default to something and I don't know what because I've got a crate it's called Bali Bops, and there's like 6 of them in there that have like the Punjabi MC.
Yeah.
These other ones that just absolutely hit. You have to play them every single time.
Yep.
But then I need more, so
Right.
it's nice to just pull through and be like, oh yeah, I've played this one 20 times. It probably will hit.
Yep.
It's in 128.
And that's what I've done.
It's in the same key.
I've kept track over time of, the must plays from the families,
Yeah.
which are the ones that hit. And then, you just build a crate.
And
over time.
one thing too is you're always going to get requests though.
Yeah.
And I've
totally.
defaulted to just like Spotify. Just go to Spotify really quick, and we'll see what we could do. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, and they just type it in because they'll ask me, "Do you have this?" And I'm like, "What are you saying?" No disrespect,
No, you're right. It's in.
but
yeah,
they'll ask me, and I'll be like, "Here, just get it on there, and we'll see what we can do. I'll see if I can
language.
incorporate it." But yeah, very good event. They partied all night long. They always do.
Yeah, I love Indian weddings. I love them. Like people will ask. I mean, because obviously it's Albuquerque, New Mexico, or Santa Fe, and they're like, there's just that culture is not as prevalent here, and so I think a lot of them get. There's actually like a fear built in with people with East Indian weddings coming here because. Do the DJs know the music?
Yeah, do
Can
they know the
play it?
culture?
Can they?
Yeah.
Exactly the culture, like, and being able to tell them, oh yeah, like I've got a speaker on wheels for the barat, you know, and this and that, and oh my God, they're like, oh, when you can relate, right, with them, then it just puts them at ease.
Totally, yeah,
and they're fun. They're so much fun.
They don't
all the
miss.
colors.
Super colorful. I've never had an Indian wedding that missed or like had any kind of like low momentum throughout the night.
Yeah.
Get this, they had a Catholic ceremony at 9 a.m. I think maybe 10.
Oh dang.
But Taylor Fail told me that the bride was up at 4 a.m. that day.
Oh my gosh.
And they went until 12:05.
Well, the last one that I did, it was last summer, and actually it was an Indian Chinese fusion.
Nice.
So we had crazy culture, and it was
that's a
complete.
crazy one.
It was
Not
complete
crazy, but
destination
unique.
wedding.
Yeah.
It was so much fun, and you could tell like it was so cool because the Chinese side of the family was really digging the Indian music, you
Nice.
know, and it's not like I'd sit there and play a half hour, 45 minutes of that. It's like, you know, a jam mixed in with the American stuff. And then you throw in a Bollywood in between some of the American stuff. And it's like, I don't know. It just hits different, right? Like
It's a good little blend of like their music. You can just have fun with it. too.
Totally.
And that's what's cool about
it's all
that.
dance.
Yeah.
It's all, like
Exactly.
all danceable music.
That's what I was
It's
gonna say.
so
is
much
you have
fun.
the ability too with a lot of these songs to just kind of mix them with dance tracks. They all kind of rest in that 120, 128 area.
Right.
And so it's fun.
Cool.
So yeah. What about you?
So I had a fun one that I've been dying to come on here and talk about. So this wedding was at the Sandia Event Center. It was in November, and it was actually for what I would call a prominent, if not one of the most prominent families here in Albuquerque. I'm not going to give out any names or anything like that, but let's just say
Walter White.
yeah. Man, yeah, Jesse.
Jesse
It's Jesse Pinkman's family.
That's pretty fun.
Yeah, a lot of blue theme. But anyways, no, but it was so much fun putting this one together. So, well, you want to know what's funny?
That's funny.
Now that we just said that,
Yeah.
the bride and the groom of this one, they're actually in the movie industry.
Oh, cool.
That's not what the family's known for, but that's what they do. Like they've done like, you know, work with acting and stuff. So, but anyways, it was fun because they hired us, but then they also hired this amazing band. And for those of you that are local, if you've not heard of the Mango Cakes, big shouts to Jabez and the Mango Cakes. Like this band. So you had told me about them because you've seen them.
We love them.
Yeah.
We've seen them local at Marble a handful of times, probably more than 6, 7 times. But Sindra, my fiance, loves them. I love them. They always put on a good show. Their big theme is music for everybody. So they're so well rehearsed. And now they're incorporating more of their own tracks, and it's fun.
It was you're right. They played I think 1 or 2 of their own originals during that, but so much fun. I mean, we came in. They set up a massive stage, which was honestly too big for the.
It was a unique layout for the venue. Can we talk about where it was at?
So it was at Sandia Event Center.
Yeah,
and you're right. The layout. I don't know if I would have done it this way, but it was the layout that we were, that they chose, and basically the stage that we were on took up like half of the width of the room, which was too big. It was too much. I mean, and honestly, I think that there was probably 120 or so people there. So the spacing for dance floor space and all that actually wasn't a problem. It looked weird.
it's just really big. Just right.
Well, the stage was larger than the dance floor. So-
that good and bad.
So it it didn't look right.
Yeah.
Right. So I think had they just backed the stage off a little bit more, and I think once they got in the room, they also realized like, this maybe wasn't what we kind of pictured, but we made it all work. Right. It was all good. In fact, I wasn't supposed to even be on the stage originally, but since the stage was so large, we put me up there.
There you go.
On the stage.
That gives you an idea of how large they got a full band and a DJ booth up there.
Right.
It's a big stage.
So, but it was so cool. The band, I think I'm trying to think of the layout here. So I played during the cocktail hour, and the band came on towards the end of cocktail hour because they actually led us into the first kind of dance set, which was before dinner.
Okay.
And so bride and groom come into the room, and they came on stage and sang with the band. So they had practiced with the band.
Okay.
And groom was awesome on the guitar. Like he played the guitar and the keyboard.
So yeah, you can tell music is super important for these couples.
Super important.
Yeah,
like
it's a very big component of their life.
that was probably honestly the biggest deal to them was the entertainment, right?
I love that.
And so
That's our client.
So they came on, they played, and then I did dinner. I played music during dinner time, and then I think the band came back on. They did a set. I came on. I broke the band. I gave them a little break for about a half hour, I think, or so, and then they came back on, and then I finished off the night. And it was super fun,
Good back
super
and
cool.
forth, yeah.
It was cool because they gave me the set list beforehand, so I was able to see the songs that they were going to play. Made sure I
nice.
stayed away from those, right? But then kind of. And they play everything. So the mango cakes, you guys, now this is the part for couples. If you are looking for a band, and I know this is always the hardest part, band, DJ, what do I do? In this case, this couple had the best of both worlds, which is, maybe ideal if you want a band.
I love it. You know what I mean? But I get it.
Yeah, but they played everything. I mean, everything from Bruno to...
I love their version of Crazy in Love. If they've did it.
Yeah. Crazy in Love. Selena, Sublime.
Yep.
I'm telling you guys, everything. I think there are some country songs thrown in there.
Yes.
So literally, they do it all. They do it at I think a really high quality.
Yes. I think they also understand the importance of like MC. Did you MC? Did they MC?
So this is where we could have done a better job.
Let's talk about it.
So the MCing on this, I was under the impression, for example, that the band was going to be bringing in the couple because they were going to be playing, and then the couple they were going to introduce the couple to come out, and the couple was going to go right in and start playing with them.
Yeah,
well, then they came up to me and asked me if I was introducing the couple.
Oops.
And so, and I was like, well, no. And honestly, I really wasn't prepared. This is the kind of stuff, not that and I did it, and it was fine because I've done it. I've done intros so many times, like it'll just rattle off, and it's not a problem.
Right,
but I like to have my stuff scripted. I just like to know what I'm getting into. Even later on, we had another portion of the night where an announcement needed to be done. And just like my microphone was not connected. There are technical issues that, honestly, had we just been prepared, would have been no problem at all. And so there were a few of those little glitches that happened just because there was miscommunication for whatever.
Yeah.
I had my final meeting the week of with bride and groom. We had talked about everything that I thought I needed to know. And then, of course, we get there and the band just either these things, I thought they had been communicated to the band before, which is why I asked these questions. And they said, oh, no, they're going to introduce us. They got us. Okay. Then I don't worry about it.
Yeah.
And then we get there and they're like,
you're going to
introduce them, right? And I'm like,
yeah. Not what we had, but
yeah. So
possible.
A few of those things, it wasn't make or break. We got through it. It was okay. Ideally, those would have been worked out beforehand.
Nice. Okay.
But it was cool. It's super fun. And what's awesome is next week I get to work with them again at a holiday party. Now, and I'm stoked for this because holiday party is a little bit different than a wedding in what you can kind of play and get away with. And I'm looking at their playlist, ahead of time. So this is kind of funny. They kind of have this master list that I could tell that they pull from and they work off of.
Yeah.
I was gonna email them, like, hey, can you send me the list? But it's like a current running list, and I can just see it already, like what they're playing.
Oh, they have you like in their Google Doc?
Yeah, exactly.
That works.
So I can see what they're gonna play next week, and I'm like, all right, awesome. Like I can just stay away from all that music.
That's
right?
good.
So,
yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, so that was that was the last wedding that I
That's
did.
awesome.
That was in
No,
November.
Shout out the mango cakes,
Yeah,
though.
mango cakes. You guys
Great
are
band.
awesome. I can't wait to work again.
Follow
work
them.
with
If
you
you're
again next
local
week.
here in Albuquerque, just follow them. They're a great band to just see live. If you happen to see them at a wedding, that's fantastic. But I promise you, you will not be disappointed. I've seen them at the fair. I've seen them at El Rey. I've seen them at Launchpad. But my favorite is Marble Downtown. That they just thrive in that little pocket.
Yep. No,
good band.
It's super cool. So
Cool.
yeah. All right. Do you have any other events, or should we get into Wedding MBA?
I did Marble West Side. Nothing crazy, Marble
West
events.
Side?
No, it's a cool little spot. I love it because you don't have to bring speakers. You just plug into their house sound.
Oh yeah.
And we did it the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, which was unique. I think the party scene is as a whole is kind of not as apparent as it used to be. Which
Yeah,
is
that's
interesting.
that's
with
kind of
like
what
Gen Zers or
I mean,
whatever.
You know what? I've reached how old am I? 45. And I was just thinking of getting a second wind in my party scene, and I've heard that people aren't going out as much. Just when I was going to start going back out, Tony.
Just when you were. Dang it. Yeah, right?
Yeah.
No, I mean, I get it. I think the party lifestyle is changing. I've been seeing that the club lifestyle is changing. It's
Right.
not about, it used to be about going to the club and seeing the club, being a part of the experience inside of the club with the chandelier. The DJ wasn't a big thing.
Right.
Then I felt like it transitioned to the DJ. Now it's,
You're going to see Tiesto. You're
Yeah.
going to see Aoki.
and it happens to be at this awesome nightclub.
Right.
Now I feel like people aren't even going to these clubs anymore, and they're more looking for like speakeasies. It's more like small, intimate things where it's not as like the focus on party. Like people still want to have a drink and relax and enjoy themselves, but it's more on like a different kind of style. I've been seeing coffee
Yeah.
shop shows do a party at 11 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
on a Saturday,
Yeah.
and see how many people show up for your event. And it doesn't have to be that, but like it's a party.
It's a vibe, right?
Yeah, it's a vibe, and so that's I've been interested in reaching out to certain coffee shops. I thought that was something to like bring to like for January, February when we're low on events.
Yep.
Just go, hey, what are you doing? You want me to? Can I come DJ at your spot?
Right.
And we'll make an event out of it. We'll bring more people to you, and same idea as a bar, but for coffee.
Cutmaster coffee sesh.
Ooh, trademark.
Yep. Don't take it. We did it first. Yeah.
That's fire though. And then we just invite people to come vibe with us. Okay.
Okay, so put it in the comments. Put it in the chat. Are you gonna come vibe with us with some
Cutmaster coffee
Cutmaster
sesh?
coffee sesh?
That's pretty cool though. And a lot of these local spots, I think they're down. Okay, so yeah, that's just an interesting kind of sidebar.
Yeah.
But yeah, today's topic, we can move on towards.
Let's do it. Let's move into it. And actually, it'll kind of transition and work with some of this, what we're talking
Yeah.
about with the nightlife. So we wanted to talk about Wedding MBA. We just came back from Wedding MBA a couple of weeks ago. We haven't done a DJ show, or at least I haven't since before COVID. And I used to go to them twice a year because they had Mobile Beat, which is a DJ conference, and then they used to have the Las Vegas DJ convention, I think is what it was called, or Las Vegas DJ show.
Yeah.
And I would do those on the regular, get out to Vegas, and network, and you get to go to education. And then I've done Wedding MBA in the past as well. And so this year, finally, we're kind of back in the groove. We've got a solid squad, and myself, Tony, DJ Victoria, and DJ Joe. Were able to get out, and we all went to Wedding MBA, and
It was fun.
Cutmaster took over Vegas.
Yeah.
Something like that.
It was a good time, honestly.
It was fun.
We had just a lot of good experience on meeting different DJs. We got to DJ at like the show floor. So
Yeah.
that was really cool. There was
Shouts to DJ Toad,
yeah,
my
appreciate
hookup there.
it. Put us on.
DJ Toad, who creates what he calls the Toadmatics. They're basically, it's a DJ booth with a screen on it, with a TV screen, and that's what we use. You've probably seen them in the pictures, and that's a Toad booth is what
Yeah.
we call it. So,
Love that. So yeah, it was just a cool experience all around. I love it because it always like reignites. Like, okay, we're doing it, all right. And you're like, see people in your field, and you think maybe you're not doing as well as others are, and then you talk with them, and you're like, oh dang, we're charging way more than you. No disrespect, but like that's kind of what I mean. Like you get to
Right.
understand where you're on different levels, and
you get a pulse, right?
Yeah,
on
yeah.
what-
And you're
where
like, wow, okay, maybe I should get that photo booth because this guy is doing way less numbers than I'm doing, and he's already paid it off tenfold. So I need to, you know what I mean? Stuff
Right.
like that.
Yep.
And then just seeing new things that could possibly be add-ons or all that.
Yeah, so it's cool. I mean, let's talk a little bit about the show itself. So there's this education component, and what's great about Wedding MBA. So for you vendors that are out there, if you're looking to, step it up, maybe you're looking for new ideas, things like that. Wedding MBA is you should do it. The ticket, number one, is not that expensive, especially if you order it like now in November, December. You're going to get a huge discount and break because they're one of those companies that as you get closer and closer, the price goes up. But you have these different tracks, okay? And this is what I like about Wedding MBA because there's like a DJ track, there's a florist track, there's a planner's track. And what's cool is you don't have to stay in your own lane. And that's what I like is going outside of the DJ verse, the DJ universe, and seeing what trends are happening in planning or this and that. And
Photography is a big one too.
Photography. So, I mean, it's really cool as a vendor if you want to, kind of peek into different verticals in the wedding industry. And there's a lot to take away from getting outside of your little box,
little local bubble. Yeah, it's a great way to level up, meet new people in your field that can give you advice that you wouldn't even think you would need, and you may have questions that they have the answers to. So that's like the biggest thing I think is those connections that you make.
And if you do go to the show, you have to go with the intent of meeting new people. You have to. That's the only way you're gonna. I mean, it's not the only way you're gonna get anything out of the show, but your world will exponentially grow by just saying hi to the person that's sitting next to you before this speaker goes to talk and striking up a conversation with them. Like, I mean, and that's really how my networking really blossomed over the years it started with Mobile Beat for me and just reaching out to other DJs. And long story short, I end up becoming a part of this amazing group of owners and DJs that are honestly, I'm not even close to the smartest person in that room when I'm with them. And it's like one of the best groups that I could be a part of. We get together every summer for a symposium. And all of that is due to the networking that I've done just by sitting at a wedding industry conference.
Well, it's cool because like that ultimate networking has like led into a real conversation we had today about elevating our CRM, right? Our website, and figuring out how to better figure all that out for the customer, for us, and making our workflow better. That came through networking and learning through people's like, hey, we're using this in our business. You should think about applying it to yours because it's making our lives way easier. So getting that word of mouth really gives just validation to make the right decision, making those connections. So yeah, that's a big takeaway I would say from Wedding MBA.
Yeah. So we all fly in. We all flew in at different times. I stayed at the Westgate, which is the closest hotel. You all stayed at
we stayed at the Harrah's.
At Harrah's. So I was a little bit cheaper, I believe.
It was $45 a night. I think for two people we paid around like $450 for the week. So it was not bad. And then we bought the shuttle pass.
Yeah, and then you just get the monorail pass, and you're literally 10, 15 minutes.
What I loved
away,
about it was we were our next stop was the convention center. So to and from, it wasn't like we're like say we stayed at Excalibur on the other end of the strip. That was a bummer. So that was the best thing. We got a very cheap room, quality Vegas hotel. You're paying resort fees, all that stupid stuff.
Sure. Yeah, and actually, I mean, I still, even though I was right next door to the convention center, you're not walking from Westgate over to there, and I was a monorail stop away as well. So I use the monorail. There's a pickup right there at Westgate. I hop on it, and I'm right there as well.
Yeah, so it was good.
Yeah, so cool. So let's talk about, we all get there, we arrive. I got in on Tuesday, which was the day that the convention actually started. And I got in that morning, went and checked into my room, and then at 1 o'clock, we're off and running with the show. And the first day was really track oriented. We stayed in the DJ lane.
They had different courses, like specifically geared towards your vendor, like your
vertical.
Yeah, exactly. So we thought, okay, let's start off day one in DJ. We looked at everything beforehand, a week before. We went through all the education, and we were like, this honestly makes sense for us to all just hang out in this room for the first part of it. You know?
And it was super cool.
Good, though. We got to see a bunch of our homies.
Oh, and that just that. We got to the room maybe about a half hour or so before, and we just start talking with all of our DJ bros, my think tank brothers and
Yeah.
sisters. Chris Washburn was the kind of hosting the room, and he's in the think tank group that I've spoke of
Yeah,
before.
he's such a cool guy too.
And we're just talking with all of them. It was awesome. So, Washburn started it off that day. I don't know anything.
I liked so what he did. This was a lot towards DJing and MC, but I loved his. Basically, what he did is he compared it to football. So he was able to show like how an MC has like 3 real positions. You're the quarterback. You're also on defense, but you're also a fan as well. So like the quarterback is the play caller. You're the guy who's running the show, making sure everything's going on, communicating, and making sure you're just everyone's on the same page. But then you're also playing defense, where you have to react to certain things. Somebody gives you a announcement to make, unexpected, different things like that. You also have to be aware of moments and being able to pivot in those moments. You play a bad song, you're on the defense because you're like, okay, how do I make this keep going forward? And then you also have to be the ultimate fan. You're the high energy, not high, but you're the person who is the life of the party, the entertainment. So you have to be a fan in a way, a fan of the event, a fan of the couple, and so that's kind of our 3 roles. My massive takeaway from this one was when you're introducing someone, action, title, name.
I had the same thing.
Welcome to the stage, the best man, Doug. That was my big takeaway from that whole thing. But I've been already doing that in my MCs.
And one other takeaway that I got from that as well, he said to worry about entertaining the person in front of you.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that was just kind of like an aha moment for me. And I know a lot of people get nervous, right? When they think that they're talking to the whole entire room, whether it's 50 people in front of you or, a few hundred people. And he was talking about just worrying about, one person, right? And keeping that person entertained and just being focused. So,
see, that's good. I feel like that would get in my head. I thrive on not making eye contact. I look and I just kind of gaze at foreheads. I make sure I engage with the whole room, and I'm making sure I'm trying. It looks like I'm looking at somebody, but I'm not looking at anybody.
Right.
And I find myself successful that way. I would, if I locked in on somebody, I'd be like, oh God.
he's not smiling.
Yeah.
He's not smiling. Smile. Yeah. No. And actually, I don't either. I think I kind of do what you do. I'm more of a scanner.
I've always found success there.
But I do look at people, but not intentionally, right? Like it's like
it might happen.
like I just I'm making eye contact with here, but then I move
Then
kind of
you just
around.
keep it going.
Yeah. So.
Nice.
But yeah, so that was a good one. Next one that I saw was DJ Happa, which was pretty cool. He actually went into really more for DJs creating your own,
Edits, right?
edits and cuts of songs. I didn't get a whole lot out of that just because it's really what I currently already do. So I thought it was great for some people that are looking to do
Was
their
he
own.
using Ableton?
He was using Ableton,
Mm.
and it was great. Just looking at how he showed also how you can do some stuff in Serato itself.
Nice.
So that was cool.
Nice. I actually went to a different one. I went to a photo one. It was called Digital Snapshot with Chris J. Evans. This guy's a big time photographer. But basically, his whole thing was like selling the story of the couple and being able to sell that through the lens of a camera. But I think any vendor can take this. Like, how do you tell your story? What is your brand story? And how do you convey that through social media with visual media, right? So photo, video, and how do you convey what your brand is about? I like to think that our brand is about live entertainment, fun. Like what words come to mind when we think of Cutmaster and we think of that, but also professionalism, elegant. And so how do we convey that in a social media outlet, right? And so I kind of took that into account. I just put out our ad for the next year, and I was like, okay, I want things to pop. I want things to really wow them when they see these shots, but also show we're clean, we're elegant. You know what I mean? It's not just a rough and rowdy house party.
Yeah.
It's an elegant, fun party that and you see that through the visuals. So I thought that was a big thing, figuring out how do you sell that. I think we have an advantage because entertainment's visually engaging,
Right.
but like planning, how do you sell that? How do you visually show that? So
Yeah.
these are questions you want to ask yourself as well as your coworkers or your employees.
Or
What-
ChatGPT.
Or ChatGPT. I got a good takeaway from ChatGPT. I'll hold it for a little bit. But yeah, have ChatGPT Google your business.
Yep.
What are some things that you get from, and it'll spit it out. It'll give you some good info.
Yeah.
And so,
Totally.
I've got some good takeaways. We'll push towards later. But yeah, that was a big, I thought, thing that it pushed. They're always pushing, like social media, like posting on one and pushing it across all
Right.
platforms, which I'm for and against. I don't
know.
mind being easy.
So I would say if you don't have the time and you're looking to get something out, then yes, that's fine. Like, yeah, push it out to multiple stuff. To do it all the time, though, it's not necessarily great for like
Yeah.
the algorithms.
Yeah. I feel like a good example was like for our ad, it's a reel. It's a vertical reel. It fits pretty much everywhere, right? But if it's photos tend to do a little bit better on Instagram, right? And so
Right.
different mediums require different media. So just kind of keep that in mind when you're thinking about it. But if you just want to keep it simple, please buy into these apps. They are helpful.
Totally. Cool.
Yeah.
The next one I think we went to was Nikki Nell, who's actually a think tank sister out of
She was great.
out of Boston. She's got that accent, that
Yeah.
New England accent.
Mhm.
She's awesome. She talked about multi-ops and, just really if you want to grow your business. And this was actually, her talk was great, I think, for any vertical. She was on the DJ track, but I think these were lots of points for her to for you to think about as she gave her talk.
Nice. Yeah. We're splicing. Mm-mm. Nikki Nell, I got you. I can pick up right where you left off.
Oh, we're gonna have to cut the video too.
That's all good. Okay. Yeah, I really liked what she was talking about. Basically transitioning from just being a DJ who gigs out, does their events, and figures out how to build it into a business where you're bringing on multiple DJs, basically turning it into a multi-op, right? So I like that a lot. She gave us a couple little nuggets, like putting your trainees in DJ positions so you get good content for them, right?
Right.
Like they're already there. Just put them there and take some photos, and so stuff like that. Also, we need to make a corporate U-Haul account.
Oh,
I got it right here. I'm like, oh yeah, we got to do that.
I've got it circled too.
Underlined, bolded.
Yep.
So yeah, if you're
So-
using U-Haul a lot, fun fact, you can make a corporate account, and those rates are a lot lower. So just so you know.
One of the takeaways I had from hers was that she talked about appearing bigger than what you are. So
Love that.
A lot of people, I mean, she's one of those, she's definitely a risk taker, right? Like if somebody asks for something, she just says, yes, I can do it, and then figures it out like afterwards.
Sell it first, figure it out.
Yeah. So like, it's kind of funny, but that was just something that stuck out. Always appear bigger than what you really are.
I may have done that in a wedding. I may have sold Taylor Swift bands.
Taylor Swift bands?
You know, the ones at the concert? It's like, oh, yeah, we could do it. So we're going to have to figure it out. Or I'll figure
The
it
little,
out. Yeah.
oh, yeah. Oh,
But I
those
saw-
are easy.
That's what I thought. I
Yeah.
saw we have people in the
our boy-
community who do it. So.
Our boy, Hector.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I saw Osborne was doing it, and so So that's what I thought. Like naturally in the conversation, I was like, we can make that happen.
Or are you talking about the ones that light up?
the ones that go in sync with the music and all of that?
Ooh.
David Osborne doesn't. So
Okay, we need to talk.
That-
They're super expensive.
I'll figure it out.
Well, it can happen.
Yeah.
As long as they're willing to pay.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
We can do it.
Exactly.
But they are. I've looked into it.
I'm sure it's pricey.
It is pricey.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, Nikki, now that was good. Yeah, overselling yourself, a little bit of a fake it till you make it kind of thing. you
Right.
know? But it just shows that you shoot for the stars. You're a lot more capable than what you think you can do.
Sure.
So
Yeah, this is good stuff. So I enjoyed hers, and then Troy Adams with digital marketing finished up the day for us. And Troy is great. First of all, he was super kind to include a picture of me in his presentation,
That's
which
cool.
I didn't know that was happening. So that was kind of neat. But yeah, I mean, he talked about just digital marketing. Let's see, I've got stuff here on digital channels. Building your presence. He said make sure you're everywhere, which is hard for us to do. And I think a lot of people get intimidated by digital marketing, right? Like, I need to be on TikTok now. I need to be on Instagram.
everywhere though. I feel like we're crushing it and we're still not everywhere.
Well, so the thing is that it's hard to be great at everything. So I feel like as a company have put our focus, I would say, on Instagram.
Yeah.
But we're on TikTok, and every now and then we spray stuff out there, right? And on Facebook, I'm making sure that at least monthly we're putting stuff out on those channels. Honestly, in CapCut, it's made it pretty easy for me. I'm not posting them as stories on TikTok, but every time I make a CapCut, and usually for me, it's in the morning. It literally
You're getting better at them too. I'm not saying they were bad before, but like they're consistently hitting. They're
the
funny.
memes.
They're funny.
So that's all I do in the morning. So this is here's a little hack for some of you if you want. And literally takes me 10, 15 minutes tops. I'm scrolling through CapCut. I'm finding stupid little memes.
Yeah, and they're trending memes.
And
too.
it's all trending stuff.
like chill guy.
Chill guy.
Chill guy, man. So funny.
So, I figure, and it's all right there. It's telling me what's
it's
trending.
telling you what's trending. You're not having to dig and
I
find
don't got to dig.
trends.
So I go find a trendy meme, and then I've got so much footage in my Google Photos of just events. I'll stick our event on the background and then just write something funny.
How does the meme apply to your field?
Exactly.
That's all it is, right? So we have, however that may look.
So like the chill guy. I think, what did I put? Like
You're a chill guy.
I'm at a wedding, but I'm just a chill guy that loves
Yeah.
Cutmaster music,
Mhm.
and then just got people dancing in the background.
Yeah.
And so here's the idea, and I don't think it was this talk. It was a talk later on in the.
But I think Troy gave it. I think I know what you. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, I think it was somebody else though that said that you should always have your stories lit up.
Oh yes. I thought Troy said that. No,
I don't think it
That's
was
okay.
Troy. I feel like it was anyways, it was
It's all good.
It was from Wedding MBA for sure. But always have your stories lit up. And so in the morning for me that's an easy way to do that because
Yeah.
your stories stay up for 24 hours.
See, I was dying at this one.
So,
Our future's looking
our
bright. mini
future's
me.
looking bright, mini me.
So yeah, it's just and it's fun. It's a fun little thing, and it's a good way to kind of lighten up our seriousness of like
Yeah.
break it up of like a lot of people know that we're good DJs, so it's nice to just get a joke every now and then. You
Right.
know what I mean?
Well, and that's just kind of my
fun.
style. I try to do it to
It's
where
you though too. It's so
Right.
you don't have to. You're not trying too hard.
I want to be cheesy, but not a cheese ball. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like I don't want to be like. I want it to be fun, but also I don't want it to be like.
I like that they're just like light laughs.
Yeah.
They're just like, ha, that's funny.
Yeah.
Going. It's first like, oh my gosh, they don't feel cheesy.
Well, and just like I feel like a lot of DJs that are in the kind of the luxury market specifically, everything is just so like it has to be polished
Yeah.
and perfect and every single one of my events is a packed dance floor type of thing or whatever. And I just like to liven it, like make it light a little bit, right?
But it also keeps your stories consistent. It's a
Exactly.
nice, easy way.
Yeah, and so in CapCut, what's nice though, I hit TikTok and Instagram in one shot because it automatically asks you, do you want to just post to your TikTok story? And I just, boom, hit yes, post to this post to TikTok. And then I'm going into Instagram and, just putting that on there. So
But that's like a great example of like how that medium, perfect to just kind of mass
Yeah.
send, right? Versus like, I don't know, photo.
right. So yeah, Troy's talk was cool.
I
What
like.
else did you get?
Well, a big takeaway I got from Troy's was, if you're struggling with blog writing, lock in, write 12, and recycle those every month or every year.
Yearly.
Right?
Right.
So you have 12 blogs that pertain to that month, and then you just recycle them for your SEO. Like that's so smart for that one. And then there's a bunch of different mediums. Get on podcasts. I thought that was cool. Come on our podcast. Hit us up. We're down. Pinterest is still the #1 platform for brides. Hate it. That's fine.
So what's funny is we do have a Pinterest because I got on it
That's good.
like a million years
They've
ago.
been pitching
But
it
I
forever.
have not put anything on Pinterest in so long. So maybe that's something we for 2025 we look at maybe.
What I like about those is it's almost blog writing in a way where you
Right.
can kind of set it and forget it, but it's for search engines. So
Yeah, might be something that we look at
Mhm.
just because we haven't really tackled Pinterest and
update it at least. Yeah.
right.
So let's see. Trying to think.
Another note from Troy Adams: no email should be more than 200 words.
Yes, loved that.
So that's great. Type out your emails, put it in a chat GPT, make this less than 200 words.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. He talked about automation, which we do a lot of here. That was pretty much it from what I got.
Yeah, later.com was a good one that you can actually incorporate with like your DMs and stuff too. So say you get an inquiry on your DM, it will automatically reach out to them right away and say, hey, thank you so much for reaching out. Here's a link to whatever if you want to incorporate that. You can incorporate a custom message to say anything you need, whether it has links, pricing, anything, but it automatically replies. And that's something that's super important. For anybody listening out there, make sure you're replying fast. Anytime these inquiries come in, hit them up right away. The faster you reply, the more likely you're going to get a reply back. It's like as fast as 2-3 minutes, maybe even 1 minute sometimes. But just making sure you have that. And if you already have something in play that does those replies and sends them through your email drip, that's already a step that you don't have to worry about. It's already being taken care of. And then you're getting the good stuff, the emails and all of that, versus just trying to dig for information. So,
Right.
Later.com.
Cool. All right. So that was the end of day one as far as content went. And then that night we went to into dinner. I know I went out with Toad and my buddy Terry Moran. We all went and had some sushi, which was
I felt bad, but none of us wanted sushi.
Okay. So this is what I don't get. We're gonna air it out
Nice.
on the air here. Okay.
hear it.
So we make plans. My buddies are like, hey, originally we weren't going to do sushi. We were going to do Benihana's,
Yeah.
but Benihana's was closed.
Ooh.
And so that's why we didn't end up doing that.
Mm-hmm.
So they decided to go do sushi, and there's this place for $30. It's all you can eat sushi for 90 minutes.
Nice.
So I presented it to them, to Tony, Victoria, and Joe, and everybody's like, oh yeah, that sounds cool. And I was like, all right, so then let's do that. So then I get over to the sushi place and get a phone call from this dude. Hey, we're not going to do sushi. We don't want to do it. And I'm just like, well, then why didn't you just say you didn't want to do sushi?
It was a thing where all of us were being nice.
Yeah, you're all being nice for
And
the sake of...
Nobody, and then we all were like, wait, does anybody actually want sushi? And then they were like, no. And then we told the cab driver where we were going, and he goes, oh, that's pretty far.
Yeah, it was kind of far.
Yeah, and it was fine, but like we were like, oh, okay, well, we kind of wanted In-N-Out, and there's a noodle bar right over there, so we just did that.
Yeah. So you did In-N-Out and a noodle bar?
Well, we did In-N-Out for the first meal, like a quick bite, and then we went and got drinks somewhere. Where was it? Because Victoria knows a couple DJs out there, so we were able to just kind of hang out at these different bars. There was one on that where the link is, so we went there.
So then and I'll talk about this a little bit too. So because I went and did sushi. So I didn't mention this at the beginning, but I was not feeling great. As I've documented on here numerous times, I'm dealing with long COVID, and
I felt like you had
unfortunately,
a cold though.
and so I had not only like the long COVID stuff, I was still kind of in the midst of like a crash, and I was coming down off of that, but I had a cold going on while I was
so
out
that
there.
doesn't help at all.
And it didn't help at all. And so I didn't honestly get to do a lot of the stuff that I wanted to do, like with all of you.
Yeah.
I didn't get to go to it nearly as many of the talks as I wanted to because I was not feeling good. So like once I was done with sushi, In fact, we were like eating sushi, and all I
Mhm.
could think of was like, I can't wait to get back to my room.
Yeah.
So I didn't do anything. I was done after that. And then you guys went out, right?
We went out. We found a cool couple bars. We found this one bar that was like it was a speakeasy inside of a barber
yeah.
shop. DJ Joe had never been to a speakeasy. And so I was like, "Oh, bro, let's find the sickest one on the strip and go." And so I found this one. This one seemed pretty cool. It was inside of a barber shop, and it was awesome because it was the full experience of a speakeasy. Like they didn't let us in right away, but there was no line. So I was like, let's just wait here 10 minutes. I bet you we'll get in quick. And sure enough, we did. We got in. But the lady goes, "Hi, welcome." And then she just, bah, 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 and then just, what's the password? And then she said some word. We didn't have to know the password. So I was like, oh, fuck, we don't know the password. Oh, no. And she knew it. So she let us in. But it was amazing because of how quiet. It was white, all white elegance, the barbershop. Clean, like elevated barbershop, and then you open it up and it's like the grungiest like rock dive bar. And it was funny because you just hear Joe go, "Oh shit," like he's like, and he was so surprised because the reveal was very grand, and I was like, "Oh, cool," and I was like, "Yes, Joe gets to experience this." So
That's cool.
It was a fun local band. They crushed it. They knew all the songs, and it was just a fun time there. And then we went to what is it, Pinky Ring, Bruno Mars's nightclub or whatever.
Okay.
And
I don't
so
know.
it's called like Pinky
I
something.
was sleeping.
Bruno Mars, Pinky. Yeah, it's called the Pinky Ring. And so it's inside the Bellagio, and there's no phones allowed. You just go in there. It's a cool bar. I messed up and I took a snap. I was like, because I was just like drinking and not thinking.
Right.
And they're like, "Hey, put that effing phone down." La, la, la. I was like, oh my God.
They got on you.
And I was like, what happened? They're like, no phones. I was like, oh, I forgot. My bad. But
Whoops.
yeah, but we were hoping to see, yeah, for real. We were hoping to see Bruno or like a special guest. Sometimes they show up, but no. But it's cool bar. And then we were like, all right, we still got a couple more days. We're gonna be here till like Thursday night. So
Yeah, that was night one.
that was night one. So.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, that, and then education. This was basically the meat and potatoes of Wedding MBA. I felt like education started at 9. You go until 5. They had a bunch of different things. The show floor is open. It's rocking.
Yeah.
On day 2.
And you're talking about day 2.
Yes, exactly.
So we get into day 2 here, and
we split up a little more.
we did.
today.
So this is where day 2 was a little bit more where you could go to different. It felt more inviting to go to different tracks.
Yeah.
So that's what we did. We all split up as a group and went to some different things. I honestly went to 1 in the morning. And then, like I said, still wasn't feeling great, and I went back to my room in the afternoon and slept most of the day. But the talk that I went to was, and some of you might look her up. Her name is Becca Pountney, Pountney, and I think she was from the UK. Like she was British. She was talking about how she flew in just for this.
Nice.
And her name of her talk was called "Oh Snap," and she has a book that's called "Done is Better Than Perfect," which I actually wrote down that I need to go grab. But it was really cool, and she talked about basically how the name of her talk was called "Oh Snap," and how your couples are making snap judgments about your business, right? So she said it takes a user 50 milliseconds to make a judgment on you just based on your website. So
Believe it.
she's talking about how important it is to have visual appeal, easy navigation, and that these are 4 things that couples are looking for. Price transparency, which was interesting because with that, she was talking about how we live in a world of where pricing is more readily available. And so she gave the example of like Uber and Lyft, you know, like
Amazon.
they tell you right there with the price that you're going to pay to get that. How much is this going to cost you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
It's so true. I didn't think about it.
yeah, I know. So price transparency, great images of your work. Number 3 was reviews, and 4 was clear next steps. So those are the 4 things that she was talking about, and this was really with your website, you know.
Yeah, but those are really important things. I feel like those all make sense. Visual, nice and easy. I know that when I'm navigating through apps or certain things, I'm quick. I'm impatient. You know what I mean? As the
That's what
consumer.
she's saying, that we live in a price transparent world, that people are impatient. They want to know like right away. So it makes you think, how many of you out there put pricing on your website?
Yeah.
I know that we don't put it like within like, so we don't say package A is this, package B is this, and C is this, right?
Give
She
them
says
price.
that.
They have to reach out.
So at
Wow.
minimum, she said that you should have a starting from price or a minimum price.
Yeah.
And that's really what we do. On our homepage, you're going to see
Yeah.
average pricing is between $3,500 and $4,500, right? Because really for us, it kind of depends. Like there's like a lot of different options and things that you can do that are going to affect the price, but this is where most of our events tend to land.
Yeah.
So we're trying to give you a good idea. And then we have actually a hidden page on our site that we send to our clients that gets into a little bit more
Once
specifics.
they show genuine interest,
Right.
like, okay, here's the price.
Yeah, and then it's like, okay, well, our pricing now, it's really dependent on not only the stuff you want, but who you want.
Yeah.
Because
Mhm.
the experience for us has value
Yeah.
and matters.
One thing I think is important too is we'll send the pricing before the sales meeting.
Right.
That's something I didn't do when I first started. I would be like, please just talk with me and then let me tell you the price. because
Right.
Let me sell you
And,
first.
Yeah, let me hit you with the bomb at the
Yeah.
end, right? Whereas we don't do that. We send you pricing right away,
away.
pretty much, and because we want to get that out of the way. The thing is, for us,
It's this thing hanging over the sale.
Yeah.
That's like so.
and in our case, honestly, there's a budget that you got to be within, or at least starting at. And we don't need to waste your time.
Exactly.
We don't want our time wasted if we aren't in this area of
Right.
like what we can provide and want to provide and do.
Exactly. It's just it's clear as day. If we're out of your budget, then it's just not going to work, and that's totally fine, right?
Yeah, and the reason why we're honestly out of your budget is because we are doing things that you don't need.
Yeah.
So, example, Johnny's 15th birthday party.
Yeah.
You don't need a bunch of Astera lighting, trussing,
Video DJ.
video
booth.
DJ booth, snow machines,
Right.
like, and so which is fine. There's DJs out there that can take care of your little of your smaller house party
Mhm.
at a budget level, but I can't give up a Saturday to go do that when I have a
Client who is willing
demand.
to pay.
Yeah, a demand for these events that need this,
Yeah, there you
and that's just what what our business model is
Yeah,
when it comes to
exactly.
that. So, anyways, lots of good information from her.
Don't be afraid to put your pricing out there. It's basically what we're.
Yeah,
like,
and it's made me honestly think at sometimes of just putting our pricing out there, like, and putting it
Straight
all
up.
out there, and
Yeah.
you know what, and see what happens. But I don't know. I feel like what we've been doing has been working, so I hate to mess too much with it.
Right.
Um,
We're always looking to tweak it and fix it, but then it's like if it ain't broke, right? But I get it. We always want to improve and look towards making sure that these are being as efficient as possible. And then people change. You
Yep.
know, the culture changes. So if that's something that they need right away, then maybe that's something we provide, and that helps them feel more confident.
Right. So those are the kind of the main points. She went into detail about all that stuff, but I won't get into that.
Nice.
So yeah, it was good. But go check her out.
Nice. So I had one that was very heavy focused on like AI and AI models. Her name was Sarah Margulis, and it's basically like understanding how there's so many different AI tools out there, finding the right ones for you, and doing the research to figure out which ones just kind of work best for you. One that I thought was super interesting that I've already seen so many times was Descript. Basically, writes everything down from a YouTube video. It just puts it all in a written form. So take your podcasts, run them through Descript. There's your blog. You know what I mean? Like, and it's just all done through AI. And then they have a couple other ones. The thing that they really pushed in this was it's called charmiq.ai. And basically charms they're like little bots that you can train to do tasks every day, or you can teach them to do. So whether it's reading emails and summarizing them, or there was a couple different things that they were able to incorporate, formulating timelines and stuff like that. It was really helpful for it's time saving. But my big takeaway is that there were so many. Find the ones that work for you and don't try and AI your life, but like there's definitely things that you can definitely apply and make it so much easier. Like email is one of them. Email's the one that's so I'll write out what I want to say, and then I'll throw it through GPT and say, make this friendlier, make this professional and friendly, and it'll basically say the same thing I've already said, but freshen it up and keep it within 200 characters. You know, give it these parameters, and it's so helpful.
I put mine in and say, make this not sound so much like a monkey.
That's funny. No, but this was my big takeaway that I mentioned earlier as well. When you are going through your reviews in your Google reviews, Wedding Wire, The Knot, however, the Wedding Collective here locally, when you're going through those reviews, throw those reviews in ChatGPT and say, what is my brand story? What do these reviews reflect for me individually? How can I use this as a sales tactic for future sales? Ask it to give you advice based on these reviews. It's going to hone in on what you're good at and then figure out how to sell it and give you better expertise on like what your overall story is and help you on understanding. I thought that was money. I did that right away. I came home, threw all my reviews that we have on Google into ChatGPT and said, how do I use this to benefit my sales in the future? And it gave me a bunch of different things. So
Nice.
it's cool. It's a nice little ego boost too. I don't want to say but like when you ever have self-doubt or anything, like I was like, dang, okay, this is what people think of me. And so it's cool. So stuff like
Nice.
that was great as well. Let's see, mastering lead replies, Tom Chendelnick. Basically, his was quick response time, 2.7, more likely to respond when you ask a question. So ending emails with questions is more likely to get a response. 2.2, more likely to respond if you reply within the first 3 hours. On average, people are responding within 10 hours. So if you could do it within the first hour, you're blowing people out of the water. And I think that's super important.
For me, it's like a kind of like a self-competition, so to speak, right now, to get people that I send emails to get them to say thank you for the quick response. Like it's like a pride thing right now for me. I'm responding right away so I can get them to say, I love that you responded so fast.
Funny that you say that because we had a meeting about it and you showed us some examples and now I've seen it a few times. I'm like, yes,
Yep.
that's the right thing to do. I know I'm doing the right thing because they're giving me that, right?
Right.
So that's happened a few times. That's awesome. What not to do on your first reply. So when you're first getting it, don't overwhelm them with information. Just try and get a few key points. Indulge them with high intent actions. So getting them to book a meeting, to get pricing down, getting those information. Don't send large attachments, which I thought was interesting. And don't share a lot of attachments. I'm taking that out as well. I'll send it. My final sales email, once I put it all together, has like 6 attachments in it with the pricing, 3 reviews, a link to some Instagram links, and it's just too much.
That's what I would think, that it's too much. They're less likely to click on anything if you've got like 6, 7, 8 attachments, as opposed to if you just have one down there, right?
Yeah.
Like,
So figuring out which ones are important.
and what's important.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, do you really need 3?
Yeah. Like, and what is it that, like, what's the purpose of it, right?
Yeah.
Like, if
What
I need to
is-
give them pricing, well, then,
Yeah.
here.
Mhm.
Or if you're looking to get them to click on a video of you, then, so I guess it depends on what your purpose of your email is and
Yeah.
what your goals are
Mhm.
out of it. So that makes sense.
Reply the same method that they sent the inquiry. So if they reach out to you through TikTok, reach out and then send them through your email drip. Like try and get their information, but like don't just like reach out a different way. But yeah, come to them at their level, answer their questions, keep it short. Use video. Gen Z is the generation of video. If we haven't learned that already, but it's definitely a thing.
And actually, I'm going to get into that a little bit
Go
here
ahead, let's
too.
transition into that.
So, is that it for?
Yeah, that was for that one. I'm trying to think of any other big takeaways from that day. We had Matt Radicelli with cash flow, making sure you're managing and tracking your cash flow. He's
Okay, so before we get into that, let
Right.
me go into
Let's
this
go
one
for it,
because I
yeah.
think it gets into the Gen Z type stuff.
nice.
So,
Love it.
I went and saw Tim Chi, who is the CEO of The Knot. And he always this is always the one talk I try to make at Wedding MBA, because every year he gives the state of the industry
Yeah.
talk. And so it's a lot of trends and what's happening and what they think is going to happen in the future. So, first of all, he said in 2024, there were 2 million weddings.
They're down, right?
I believe it was down a
Every
little
year
bit.
They're dramatically going down.
Yep. Excuse me. But he did reaffirm that the wedding industry is recession resistant, All right. So, and it kind of makes sense. The only thing that can stop our industry is what happened when they literally told us we could not gather.
Yeah.
Okay. But outside of that, I mean, people are still going to plop out that credit card and just put stuff down and rack up debt. I mean, really, that's kind of what happens, right? So, he just reaffirmed that the industry is kind of recession proof. Then he started talking about Gen Z, and he said this was interesting to me. Okay, so would you predict that Gen Z compared to maybe millennials are more or less likely to get married?
I feel like feels like it's less. I want to say less because, like, I don't know. That's like the Gen Z thing.
So 86% of Gen Zers envision marriage in their future.
Okay.
It's
That's a good
it's
stat.
way higher. I don't remember what the number was. I didn't write it down for millennials, but
Okay.
Gen Z is a lot higher, more likely to. They're looking forward to marriage.
Interesting.
Now,
So,
it is interesting
that
because
mean?
well, millennials, you have to remember too. So it's like what's happening with millennials is really interesting. First of all, they are the generation that stayed at home with their parents the longest, right? They are also late into, and this comes from my real estate industry, they're late into buying homes because they stayed at home for parents for so long.
Yep.
So they are just getting into the market now for buying and purchasing properties, right? When Gen Z is also getting into the market now, they are actually more likely to buy homes earlier. They want to get out away from parents. So it's just kind of interesting. Let's see. So, and Gen Zers consider marriage a big milestone.
Yeah,
Like,
that's good.
so that's also, and same as buying a home. So actually buying a house was number one for Gen Zers.
Nice.
So I've got this chart here. It says the top cultural trends Gen Zers believe will influence and shape weddings in 2025 as they're ranked. Okay, so I'm gonna go. These are remember, these are the things that they believe will influence and shape weddings. So I'm gonna go backwards. Number 10, Chapel Rowan. Number 9, Sabrina Carpenter.
Okay.
Number 8, Western.
Okay.
I don't.
Western themes.
What is it?
It's like cowboy.
Is it Western? Maybe I might be reading that wrong. What? No, it says Western. Okay. Number 7, TikTok dances.
Yep.
Number 6, demure and mindful.
Okay. Yeah.
Number 5, quiet luxury.
I've heard that.
Number 4, cottage care.
I don't know what
I
that
don't
is.
know what that is. Number 3, Taylor Swift. Number 2, celebrity weddings, and number 1 is old money aesthetic.
Celebrity weddings. What does that even mean?
So remember, this is the top cultural trends that Gen Zers believe influence and shape weddings.
Okay. I'm understanding now.
So, yeah, kind of
Old
interesting.
money, huh?
Yeah, old money aesthetic. So once again,
It's
that's
like simple, though.
it's pretty simple. So it's like kind of like saving, buying assets like a house,
Yeah.
things like that. Okay, so here are some things that are hot for 2025. 85% of people, I guess, are thinking about inflation. He talked about areas that are trending for wedding, like hotbeds. I think the Northeast was like number 1. The Southwest was not one of the hotbeds, which I thought, because
so unique.
we get
We get a lot.
a fair number of destination weddings, but the Southwest was not.
I'd say about 80% of my weddings are they do not live here.
Yeah.
And a big pro of getting married in New Mexico as opposed to all these other places is it's cheap.
Well, it didn't say that New Mexico is not a trending
Southwest
spot, but I put in parentheses not Southwest because it wasn't lit up like. So the coasts were lit up, so like L.A., but the Northeast.
I guess those just make sense though.
Right, they're just
they're obvious.
They're destination places, right? AI use has doubled among couples, so
Sure.
they're actually using it mostly, or I should say, like this, I think was the number 1 to write their website.
Oh, really?
Yeah, to do their website copy and thank you notes.
Oh, smart.
Yeah, So, and these were Tim's bold tech predictions. Number one is that SEO is going to be replaced by AI search.
I completely agree.
Yeah. I
But
mean,
isn't that SEO?
no,
How does
because
that work?
that SEO is search engine optimization.
Yeah.
AI is not a search engine.
But
so
doesn't-
ChatGPT,
when you tell it to Google something, isn't that
well, but you're not asking AI to Google something. What you're going to ask AI is who's the best DJ
Yeah.
company in Albuquerque.
and so it
And
does
so
its own
it's taking all the
not?
information from all their databases, and now it can include the World Wide Web,
Okay.
and it's taking that information and coming up with something.
Uh-huh.
Whereas search engine
Google.
optimization, all right, is a search engine Google. Like,
Uh-huh.
so AI is using all kinds of different Google. I mean, not even Google. It's using websites, right? And like, it might be finding its information about Cutmaster music through reading these blog articles,
Interesting.
not from Google.
Yeah.
I mean, Google's probably part of it, but Google has an algorithm
Yeah.
that's not taking all this stuff. It's like it's got its own set of criteria,
Yeah.
and it's feeding you what it feels are the best for what you're asking, right? So it's different. AI is constantly,
So it's a new beast.
yeah. So now we're gonna have to be optimizing for AI.
Yep.
It's interesting. Number two, AI will use your computer while you watch your computer.
What does that mean?
So think about that.
Boom, number one, baby.
AI will use your computer while you watch your computer. So these machines are going to be turned into AI capable machines. They're going to learn about you. They're going to learn about what you're into, your life, your everything, all the stuff that you're inputting into this, and it's constantly going to be evolving to whatever it is that you're doing and your needs, right? So that was just kind of interesting. Number three, voice interfaces to AI will become your primary interface.
So like
Talking to
we'll
to
use AI.
So kind of like Gemini,
Yeah.
your AI assistant, right? Like Google's really pushing that right now.
It's interesting, but I used it yesterday and it was helpful. It was kind of scary. I made dinner, but I did the Chat GPT like talk. And I just had a conversation with my phone, and it was like very fluid and organic, and like just kind of.
And now you're in a relationship with your phone. Does Sindra know about this, Tony?
She doesn't
Does
yet.
she approve?
No, I didn't.
What's your AI's name?
I didn't tell her that I made dinner based off AI.
You named your. Did you name your AI
No.
Sindra? AI Sindra AI.
That would be a problem. No, but seriously, I said I've got these three ingredients. What can I make for dinner? And sure enough, I had a bomb dinner. Right? So
Dang.
yeah, and so like that's like just practical life stuff. But I use it for literally everything, and that's just one example. But like, I was trying to figure out like simple Christmas gifts, different
Yeah.
things like that. So fun fact, I just looked up who's the best wedding DJ in Albuquerque. We just came up number one. There's some other options, but we're number one. So that's cool.
See,
But I don't know if it's biased because it knows
right?
who I am.
Exactly. So and
It
that's where it might
remembers-
be. And it might see you talking and chatting about Cutmaster music. So it's learning, right? It's a
Yeah.
learning. They're learning machines. So yeah. What is
How
it?
do we get it to recommend us?
Right, exactly. That's where AI it's AI optimization is going to be key. So
Yeah. And that's I don't know. We'll have to figure out. Well, there'll be another episode on AI optimization because I feel like that's where being everywhere benefits.
you just hit it on the nail on the head. I mean, if you are in more places and AI is getting smarter to look in all these places, well then your chances of being referred, right, recommended to come up in that search is greater.
Yeah, I'm definitely Chat GPTing a lot more things than I Google things.
Yeah.
I found myself doing that.
I think a lot of people are, and a lot of people are going to be using these AI interfaces like Gemini. If you have an Android or I've got the Google Pixel, they're really pushing this. So I think that's
Interesting.
That's where it's gonna head.
Yeah. What else? What are those other trends?
So
interesting.
that's it. That's
those
what
are
I
them?
ended up with that one.
Those are good though. Those really, I mean, these are things to start thinking about now, so they'll be easier in the future. But like, it makes a lot of sense. It's exciting though.
Yeah.
Like I said, I definitely didn't think marriages were up. I thought they would be going down. But
Yeah, so I mean, it makes you think, and we have to think about our couples, right?
Yeah.
So we are moving and transitioning from millennials into the Gen Z.
Yep, it's happening.
And you know, it's really important for us to know where they're hanging out. What do they always say? Go to where your couples are hanging out, what they're using, what are they doing, what are they listening to, what are they, everything about them, and you got to use that information to try to target them, right?
I think it's interesting too where we're at in our kind of level of business, where our clients are a little more established in like their careers, and they're a little older too. So I feel like we're still our client is still a millennial, but that Gen Z is creeping, and I've already had a couple Gen Z brides for sure. But it's a lot of them are kind of like mid to late 30s or early 30s. They're basically the same age as me. A lot of my clients right now.
Exactly, and that's what we've found, right? Millennials they've stayed at home longer. They've been in their careers, like they've really focused on the career portion of it, like especially like the females, right? Female millennials, and then they got married a little bit later and get into their into all that. So it kind of it makes sense. But if this is true that Gen Zers are doing things sooner, we might creep back into the Gen Zs being more into their earlys, mid-20s getting married as opposed to the millennials.
Totally.
Right? So good news. It's the good news for us in the industry is that weddings are still happening.
Right? They're not going anywhere.
Yeah, they're not going anywhere.
They may be going down overall, but they're not like diminishing. You know what I mean? I thought I saw that there was like 5 million 3 years ago. But that's because of COVID.
A lot of that was because of the COVID break.
So now we're kind of more at a steady. I bet you it'll stay pretty much the same or drop a little bit, but nothing too crazy.
It's gonna be interesting to see.
Yeah.
So let's talk about. I know, like this is a long episode.
Where are we at already?
We're at an hour and 20 minutes.
Oh shit.
That's all right. For
my bad, y'all.
For the three of you that are still with us, thank you. No.
Appreciate you.
But
we're giving you good nuggets.
Actually, so this is getting better, especially for you as we go on here. If you've hung out, because if you are going to Vegas anytime soon, we went to dinner that night.
Oh yeah.
We took Cutmaster Music, treated everybody to. It's called Best Friend. If you've never been there, it's at the MGM Park. And tell me what your thoughts were of the joint.
It was very cool. So when you walk in, first off, the waiting area, completely different from the dining area. But the waiting area, sick. It had like a retro diner vibe with all these cool artifacts, toys, music, very colorful, bright. And then you walk in, which feels like a kitchen, like plastic things, I guess. They're like red.
Yeah, it's kind of like a divider of
Yeah,
some
yeah,
sort.
yeah.
Like you can't see the actual where you're going.
Dining.
So it gives kind of like a speakeasy vibes.
Totally.
You know?
Because the transformation from waiting area to dining area is so different. You walk in and it's feels like a restaurant pulled from California, right out of California, and they just dropped it into Vegas. They have a DJ that felt like it was very intentional. It was very specific on his style of music and what he was spinning, which was like lo-fi hip-hop, but he sprinkled in a couple top hits, but they were on like a lower end.
He played some old school
Good stuff.
jams in there.
Yeah.
You know, and actually, so the very first time I'd ever gone to Best Friend, my cousin took me there, and DJ Angie V was actually spinning in there. I didn't know who she was at the time.
Yeah.
All I knew is that the vibes were awesome.
That's awesome.
All right. So first of all, the food, it's a California Asian fusion. That's the whole idea behind this restaurant. And it's I think it's Roy Choi he's a pretty famous chef, I guess. And he created this. And California Asian fusion vibes. Your servers are all wearing Adidas tracksuits.
Yep.
And it's really got that hip hop, like that California hip hop.
It definitely
vibe.
does,
Like,
and it's the lighting is right on point. There's the wall art is really really cool. He's very family oriented. You can tell he's got pictures of his family members like painted all throughout the restaurant. Pictures of his family members on the menu.
The menu is pictures of it in California, and you're right, of his family.
Yeah,
The menu it's actually like family style, like the
food was all family style. So the portions were massive, and then we basically would share. So we got like 4 different things.
Yeah, we got like some Asian barbecue,
like a barbecue platter or something.
Yeah,
Yeah, an
we got
Asian
a
barbecue
barbecue
platter. We
platter.
did like a birria ramen that was so good.
Yeah.
What else?
The tacos. what were they like? Were they
It's like
it was like street tacos?
Yeah, it was like a street, like Asian style, like wonton taco kind of thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was so good. And then the overall the vibe there was really really nice, and I thought the like level of service was cool, and it all overall was a very good experience, and we almost missed it. Fun fact.
Yeah, we won't talk about that. But
It was good.
Long story short, they got on the train a little bit
missed it.
later than they wanted, but
Exactly.
we made it.
We made
We
it.
did it. It was awesome.
Very cool spot. Then they have an awesome bar or nightlife club right next door.
Yeah, so there's Best Friend, and then next door is On the Record.
Yes.
Little club, and you guys actually went to that a little bit
We
later
did.
on that
So
night.
yeah, we went to Wedding MBA, had their DJ off or whatever. So we went to that, and then we were gonna go to another bar, and then we like literally walked by and we're like, let's go check it out. Chris said it was cool, so we went in, and it was awesome. It was so cool.
It's a
Yeah.
cool little spot.
They have like LED dance floor. The DJ booth was a Rolls Royce cut in half, and it felt like a house party. And it was so intimate. Everybody was dancing. There was enough room for everyone to enjoy themselves and have fun, because we also went to Excess that night, and it's a nightclub, and it's cool, but it's tight in those general areas, and it's fun and all, but like it's just a whole different experience. And I felt like it was a more familial thing at that off the record, on the record spot. So very cool spot. I liked it. It was at Park MGM.
Yeah, it's at the Park MGM as well.
Check it out. You need reservations for Best Friend.
Definitely get reservations to Best Friend, especially if you go during like peak times of the year or just seasonal times. That you can't just walk in and go get a spot there.
Yeah.
But highly recommended, especially if you've never been. Do it at least once. Pricing, it's a little pricey, like just like all Vegas places are. But I'll tell you honestly, like for
You'll
the four of
spend, like-
us, it was like $230 or $250?
Yeah.
I think, and
Not
that was
bad.
4 of us. We all had
And we ate good,
plenty of
though.
food.
Yeah, like we indulged a little. Like we
You guys
celebrated.
had some drinks.
Yeah, yeah.
But for 4 people, it was a great price.
Yeah.
Honestly, I thought it was going to cost me around $500.
Yeah.
Like that's what I was planning for.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I
no,
was.
it's one of those things where if you set enough money aside, you go to any of these restaurants in Vegas.
Yeah,
you'll
it was cool.
bills.
Go check it out.
But yeah, that was good. Good overall Vegas trip. I do want to give you guys one more takeaway, because I did this immediately and it's already helping me. Like I've seen it happen 2-3 times already.
Bring it.
In your Instagram bio, level up your Instagram bio. Make it look clean, make it look elegant, have ChatGPT help you, and use key search words. When people are searching you on those search engines, Instagram and TikTok, they're looking at your bio as well for keywords. So not only do you need to do it in captions, but make sure your Instagram bio and your TikTok bio are keyword heavy, whatever they are in your market. But it's helped already.
Yeah, overall, Wedding MBA was super fun. So for those of you on the fence or have thought about it or just looking for some level up education, definitely think about going next year. It's always in November. I think it's like the second week in November.
Mm-hmm.
And we're planning on going again. So we'd love to hang out with some of you guys out there.
Yeah.
But, definitely give it a look. I think the tickets, I don't know, they're probably about
150.
like $100 a ticket, somewhere around there right now at this point in time.
They'll go up to like 300 the
Yeah.
week of, or something crazy.
So definitely check it out. But I think that's going to do it. I think we're going to try to get in at least one more episode if we can by the end of the year.
Yeah.
It'd be good to maybe give our, Christmas list or something like that.
Holiday special.
Yeah, so we'll try to get another one in for you guys. But hopefully all your events are going well out there. It's good to see you.
We'll see you later. Have a good one.
Yeah. Have a good one. I don't know what I was going to
Oh,
say.
you good. We'll see you guys. Thank you for listening.
All right, we'll see you guys.
Thanks for checking out the Cutmaster Cast podcast. Make sure you stay tuned with all things related at www.cutmastermusic.com.